At the end of the long, dark, and lonely tunnel is the ray of light. Or is it hope? What glistens and radiates is perhaps the light of knowledge. When man was still striving to create a civilization, fight wild mammoths with their crude weapons, and establish their prudence and dominance in an unexplored world, he did inscribe his thoughts and experiences on dark walls of even darker caves. With the eventual progress of civilization and cultivation of an organized human existence, the need to share and spread knowledge and wisdom became increasingly important. From paintings on the wall to carvings on stone, from using symbols to creating letters for more disciplined writing, were perhaps steady steps towards man's exploration of knowledge and the need to share it. From the intricate inscriptions on papyrus parchments to writing on scrolls, and finally learning the magic of the printed word, these indeed were his sole companions while traveling from the darkness of ignorance to reaching that final light of knowledge. 1864. Kolkata. It has been 7 years since the Sepoy Mutiny, the country's first battle for freedom. The city of Kolkata was slowly awakening and also adjusting to the newfound rhythm of European Renaissance. In such an atmosphere of socio-cultural upheaval was the birth of Ashutosh Mukherjee to father Dr. Ganga Prasad Mukhopadhyay and mother Jagattarini Devi. In the year 1872, Ganga Prasad, along with his family, shifted to their new house at 77 Rosha Road. In 1874, the 10-year-old Ashutosh had his first encounter with the great Vidyasagar Mahasaya, and within a few days, he gifted the young boy the book Robinson Crusoe. His early education at the South Suburban School, from where he got admitted to Presidency College, having stood second at the entrance examination, are perhaps some of the bits and pieces of an illustrious life of one of the century's most noted and exalted personalities. At the tender age of 16, his research work on geometry was published by the prestigious Cambridge University in one of his papers. By this time, the young Ashutosh had embraced the much exciting world of his books and made them his best companions. His passion for reading and learning transcended all other activities, and he completely immersed his body and soul into gathering knowledge and more of it. A book published in a far-off foreign land slowly but naturally found its way into the house at Rosha Road. Ashutosh's huge collection of books was being built. He would not stop himself from collecting books at several auctions at much higher prices. Though it would be quite difficult to state when and how exactly Ashutosh started building on his huge collection of books, it can be said with much conviction that he derived much impetus and inspiration from his father, Dr. Ganga Prasad Mukhopadhyay, in doing so. There are lots of references stating how his father actually helped him in purchasing and acquiring expensive and rare books from the West. The next 40 years witnessed a frenzy of activities in Sir Ashutosh's life and career. His extensive knowledge in areas of mathematics, his prudence in law, his administrative skills, his image of a strict disciplinarian, the natural warmth of his character, and above all, the efficiency with which he delivered his responsibilities as the Vice Chancellor of the esteemed Calcutta University have all added on to make him more of a metaphor. As Vice Chancellor, he dared to take revolutionary decisions, introduced new and innovative subjects into the teaching curriculum, and most interestingly, opened up his collection of books to the students for their access. Despite being a student of science, his passion for knowledge was rather vast and is reflected on his massive collection of books in the fields of arts, history, painting, law, along with books on science. Back in time, Ashutosh's personal book collection, which was hardly ever catalogued, was worth almost rupees 5 lakhs. His house was stashed with books, and every corner and space was utilized to store them. The relatively larger rooms in the house had gigantic storages with books in them. Apart from the dining room, the balcony on the third floor, the corridors and passages between rooms, and literally the entire house seemed like a library. On an average, 2,000 books were added to his staggering collection every year to quench his unending thirst for knowledge. 1922. The University of Calcutta was about to lose its autonomous state. Sir Ashutosh refused to take any help from the government. Did this fiercely independent man derive his inspiration to protest from any printed line? 1924. Sir Ashutosh Mukherjee, often called the Tiger of Bengal, seems a little tired. He decided to retire from the legal bench of the Calcutta High Court. Has the sheer smell of books, the adrenaline thrust to his very being, stopped motivating him? He decided to resume his legal practice and headed for Patna. 25th May 1924, 6:30 in the evening. While the lone, feeble ray of the setting sun was still holding on to the summer sky, the world witnessed the sudden demise of the great Sir Ashutosh Mukherjee, leaving behind his empire of knowledge and his achievements and a staggering collection of 87,500 books. The rapid passing away of time was wrapped up in a series of events. The country's freedom movement, the Second World War, and probable Japanese bombardment of Calcutta had created an atmosphere of apprehension. In a time like this, much of Ashutosh's collection of books was shifted to Madhupur. 1947, India got its freedom. Having shed the shackles of British rule, the country was slowly changing its form and perception. The Imperial Library was renamed as National Library. In the year 1949, the four sons of Sir Ashutosh Mukherjee, Rama Prasad, Shama Prasad, Uma Prasad, and Bama Prasad, wrote to the then Minister of Education, Maulana Abul Kalam Azad, stating their wish to donate their father's entire collection of books to the National Library. A serious endeavor on part of Maulana Abul Kalam finally saw the books being brought into the National Library under certain strict conditions. Among all the personal collections available in national libraries all across the world, Ashutosh's collection is stated to be the largest. Apart from books in various languages, the collection harbors certain rare books too. The Ashutosh collection in the National Library is a living example of how varied and interesting books can actually be. The printing style, the book binding, the illustrations all help in building up an illusory world for the reader. It creates an amazing corner where the darkness of ignorance makes way for the light of knowledge. The Ashutosh collection has some serious and interesting books from the 16th and 17th century. These handmade books, printed on paper, are in extremely good condition and are much easier to read. The oldest among the collection is a book printed in 1552 on ancient Rome's law and administration. The first translation of Euclid's book on geometry, published in 1570 in London, is also a part of this particular collection. This book has numerous original illustrations. There is a book printed in the Greek language, published in 1570. The Aesop Fables, published in 1668, is also a part of this collection, which is extremely rare. In a way, Sir Ashutosh was not merely a lover of books or just a passionate reader. He was more of a connoisseur who believed that books were a true collector's item, which allowed him to build a collection of such vast magnitude. The Ashutosh collection has books which are known for their unique binding style, like the book in German and Gothic language, Faust. The book has the quintessential Morocco binding, and the beige leather cover is imprinted with gold and silver illustrations. The Bible, published in 1849, comes in a black wooden cover with beautiful engravings on it. Every individual page carries designs made with either gold or silver. The Book of the Common Prayer is bound in a black wood and leather cover. Ashutosh had acquired this book in 1904 as part of his personal collection. Apart from the subject and the content of the book, he was greatly attracted by its artistic perspectives, and these books are surely a proof of that, much like the book Don Quixote. The great book aficionado must surely have collected it because of its beautiful red Morocco cover with illustrations in gold. Sir Ashutosh Mukherjee's gigantic collection of books also includes a few rare and abridged versions of books primarily from European literature. These books were generally very expensive and printed on handmade paper or leather and carried the author's signature. The Rime of the Ancient Mariner is one such rare book in this collection. Apart from books, the Ashutosh collection also has some original paintings. There are a few bright, colorful, and artistic creations carved on thin mica plates. Original Canton paintings and watercolor paintings by the Daniel brothers are also a part of the collection. There are a few maps as well, one being a map of Hindustan created in the year 1871. Sizable collections of old photographs of the city of Calcutta are also a part of the collection. Books with engaging designs and illustrations formed a major part of the Ashutosh collection, denoting the man's fascination for such creations. In 1903, Sir Ashutosh Mukherjee purchased a book titled Himalayan Rhododendron, written by Hooker and published in 1849. This particular book has several hand-drawn sketches of various colorful rhododendrons. The book on Asiatic birds also has unique sketches of some rare birds. Views of Calcutta and its environment, published in 1848, also has some great sketches. Various Hindu prayer books and religious texts are a unique part of this collection. Ashutosh Mukherjee had a large collection of Shakespearean plays with individual illustrations. He had a vivid collection equipped with enchanting illustrations and artistic designs, prints and covers. This particular collection also houses some rare and original manuscripts. For instance, a scroll on Hindu law written in the ancient Devanagari script. In absence of a proper bibliography, the books in the Ashutosh collection were never properly arranged or catalogued. Books of a particular type were usually stored and kept in one place. Bits and pieces of paper detached from various books were often seen flying in the air. Despite a total lack of organization, Sir Ashutosh, on his part, did trigger a system where he was able to locate a particular book without much effort from a much larger heap. Sir Ashutosh, being a legal practitioner and later a justice, quite naturally has a large collection of books on various legal matters. Apart from books on laws and legal reports of various countries, the collection has books on Hindu law, laws and legal advices from the 18th and 19th century. There are also a few books of Srirampur publication. Sir Ashutosh was a noted mathematician, and hence his collection has a considerable amount of books on science and specifically on mathematics from across the world. There are around 5,200 rare books on science and technical matters. He has a good collection of books by William Shakespeare. It is quite interesting and at the same time much surprising to even think that a lone man and his personal endeavors can actually build up a collection of books of such vast magnitude. Perhaps it is his sheer love for books that has helped him in building up such a rare and revered personal collection, which is being treasured in an area of nearly 13,000 square foot in the annex building of the National Library, Kolkata. A magnificent storehouse of 87,500 books, neatly arranged in massive steel racks, still awaits that loving embrace from that lone reader who once owned them.